నేను
నారా చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు అనే నేను శాసనం ద్వారా నిర్మితమైన భారత రాజ్యాంగం పట్ల నిజమైన విశ్వాసం, విధేయత చూపుతానని, భారతదేశ సార్వభౌమాధికారాన్ని, సమగ్రతను కాపాడుతానని ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రాష్ట్ర ముఖ్యమంత్రిగా నా కర్తవ్యాలను శ్రద్ధతో, అంతఃకరణ శుద్ధితో నిర్వహిస్తానని, భయం గాని, పక్షపాతం గాని, రాగద్వేషాలు గాని లేకుండా రాజ్యాంగాన్ని, శాసనాలను అనుసరించి ప్రజలందరికీ న్యాయం చేకూరుస్తానని దైవ సాక్షిగా ప్రమాణం చేస్తున్నాను.
నేను
నారా చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు అనే నేను ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రాష్ట్ర ముఖ్యమంత్రిగా నా పరిశీలనకు వచ్చిన లేదా నాకు తెలియవచ్చిన ఏ విషయాన్ని నా కర్తవ్యాలను సక్రమంగా నిర్వహించేందుకు అవసరమైన మేరకు తప్ప ప్రత్యక్షంగా గాని పరోక్షంగా గాని ఏ వ్యక్తికి లేదా వ్యక్తులకు తెలియపరచునని లేదా వెల్లడించని దైవ సాక్షిగా ప్రమాణం చేస్తున్నాను.
Out of power. So Chandrababu Naidu's mandate that he has received this time round is certainly a little different, he himself has said, from any other mandate he has received ever. He has called this an historic mandate because of the kind of numbers that have come in. He has spoken about migrant labor spending their own money and coming to vote for him, and he says people from across the continents, whether Australia or America and the Gulf countries, all of them have come in and to vote for him. And he says in fact that that's why Pawan Kalyan, of course, going to be taking oath next. The list that is given, the pecking order is very, very clear, with Chandrababu Naidu, of course, sworn in as the Chief Minister, and then his team, top of which the list is Pawan Kalyan, Konidala Pawan Kalyan, someone who has been an actor, someone who has been an aspiring politician for a long time, and then jumped into politics. 2014, when he did support the NDA, he had not participated in the elections directly, but he did ensure, or he did help the NDA at that time also to win, and now taking oath as top of the team of Chandrababu Naidu. Naidu has been very, very careful about the optics, about ensuring that they come across as equals.
Konidala Pawan Kalyan ane nenu శాసనం ద్వారా నిర్మితమైన భారత రాజ్యాంగం పట్ల నిజమైన విశ్వాసం, విధేయత చూపుతానని, భారతదేశ సార్వభౌమాధికారాన్ని, సమగ్రతని కాపాడుతానని, ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రాష్ట్ర మంత్రిగా నా కర్తవ్యాలను శ్రద్ధతో, అంతఃకరణ శుద్ధితో నిర్వహిస్తానని, భయం గాని, పక్షపాతం గాని, రాగద్వేషాలు గాని లేకుండా రాజ్యాంగాన్ని, శాసనాలని అనుసరించి ప్రజలందరికీ న్యాయం చేకూరుస్తానని దైవ సాక్షిగా ప్రమాణం చేస్తున్నాను.
నేను
కొణిదెల పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ అనే నేను ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రాష్ట్ర మంత్రిగా నా పరిశీలనకు వచ్చిన లేదా నాకు తెలియవచ్చిన ఏ విషయాన్ని, నా కర్తవ్యాలను సక్రమంగా నిర్వహించేందుకు అవసరమైన మేరకు తప్ప ప్రత్యక్షంగా గాని పరోక్షంగా గాని ఏ వ్యక్తికి లేదా వ్యక్తులకి తెలియపరచనని లేదా వెల్లడించనని దైవ సాక్షిగా ప్రమాణం చేస్తున్నాను.
Yes. So Pawan Kalyan has taken his oath, and we are now talking about how important this mandate is. The next on the list, in fact, is going to be Nara Lokesh, is what I reckon. That's the list that's been provided to the governor, and the Chief Secretary Nirav Kumar Prasad is in fact reading out the names one by one. And Nara Lokesh, are you thinking, Ramesh Garu, that Nara Lokesh, the baton could actually be passed on to Nara Lokesh in this term of Chandrababu Naidu as Chief Minister at a time when he has received such a huge mandate, and he has also proved himself through that Padayatra that he did. He walked over 3,132 kilometers in this.
I don't think during this term Lokesh is going to take the baton from Chandrababu Naidu. It's also doubtful whether Chandrababu Naidu himself would be willing to do that. Because Chandrababu Naidu cannot live without politics, so long as he is active. So I don't think this time he is going to really...
విధేయత చూపుతానని, భారతదేశ సార్వభౌమ అధికారాన్ని సమగ్రతను కాపాడుతానని, ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రాష్ట్ర మంత్రిగా నా కర్తవ్యాలను శ్రద్ధతో అంతర్గత శుద్ధితో నిర్వహిస్తానని, భయం గాని పక్షపాతం గాని రాగద్వేషాలు కాని లేకుండా రాజ్యాంగాన్ని శాసనాలు అనుసరించి ప్రజలందరికీ న్యాయం చేకూరుస్తానని దైవ సాక్షిగా ప్రమాణం చేస్తున్నాను. నారా లోకేష్ అనే నేను ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రాష్ట్ర మంత్రిగా నా పరిశీలనకు వచ్చిన లేదా నాకు తెలియవచ్చిన ఏ విషయాన్ని నా కర్తవ్యాలను సక్రమంగా నిర్వహించేందుకు అవసరమైన మేరకు తప్ప ప్రత్యక్షంగా గాని పరోక్షంగా గాని ఏ వ్యక్తికి లేదా వ్యక్తులకు తెలియజేయనని లేదా వెల్లడించనని దైవ సాక్షిగా ప్రమాణం చేస్తున్నాను.
So Nara Lokesh now taking oath, and the order in which the oath is being taken is a reality of Andhra Pradesh now, isn't it, Mr. Ramesh? That after Chandrababu Naidu, even though Nara Lokesh is second in command in Telugu Desam, that is all indication after the kind of a Padayatra that he did, that kind of established him as a leader on his own, not just someone who has come out of his father's shadow now and emerged as a leader on his own. But Konidala Pawan Kalyan is the one second on the list, and he is going to be Deputy Chief Minister.
Yeah, during 2014 and 19, Lokesh was unofficially the second in command. He was not officially, but unofficially he was in second in command. And this time, he was thought to be, officially he would be second in command. But things have changed. So Pawan Kalyan's name is on the top of the list, which means he is going to have a big say in the government after Chandrababu Naidu, that is. So it will be very...
and say that Kinchirapu Achennaidhu is someone who is actually the brother of Yeram Naidu and someone who is the uncle of Ram Mohan Naidu, and therefore two people from the family, should I say, one getting a union cabinet post and another becoming minister in Chandrababu Naidu's cabinet. Please go ahead.
Achennaidhu is also the president of Andhra Pradesh TDP. Because TDP wanted to give that message. Achennaidhu is a BC from North Andhra, and his family has been there with TDP for a long time. So his family got two prime posts. His name figures third in the list. That shows how important this man is. And Ram Mohan Naidu, as everybody knows, at the age of 36, he got cabinet rank probably the first ever cabinet rank minister at 36.
One thing I must point out here, while he got civil aviation, which is a high-profile, glamorous ministry, but it is not a very substantive ministry in that sense. So, but do you read in it also a power equation there, that if some of the power rises in Delhi, it may be difficult for Chandrababu Naidu within the TDP pack?
Uma, I don't think it was Chandrababu Naidu's choice. It was purely BJP choice. I think BJP allocated the portfolios, and to my knowledge, Chandrababu Naidu did not insist on portfolios. Secondly, the civil aviation ministry is also important for Andhra, especially because Bhogapuram International Airport, which is a prestigious thing for Andhra, will have to come up. It got stalled during Jagan's government. It was actually inaugurated, foundation stone was laid during Chandrababu Naidu's time, between 2014-19. But unfortunately, things did not move very fast during Jagan's regime. Now, because Ram Mohan Naidu is the civil aviation minister, things might move a little faster. And very interestingly, last time it was Ashok Gajapathraju who was civil aviation minister.
At that time, unfortunately, Hudhud had struck, but his being civil aviation minister perhaps helped in the airport being reconstructed at the earliest. Vasudha, this order of the ministers in which after Kollu Ravindra we have Nadendra Manohar, who is the second in command in the Janasena party. But there is also history to Nadendra Manohar, which I must touch upon here, because Nadendra Manohar is the son of Nadendra Bhaskar, and someone who was, should I say, in the TDP history infamous in 1984.
But Nadendra Manohar has been in Congress party for a long time. He left Congress party in 2014 after the bifurcation and joined Janasena. He has been, I think, very loyal to the party, and Pawan Kalyan actually bestows a lot of faith and confidence in Nadendra Manohar. A lot of people within Janasena actually oppose him because he belongs to Kama community. Which is
I just wanted to bring out the irony of it, that Nadendra Bhaskar was someone who had tried to overthrow Mr. NTR, and at that time Chandrababu Naidu had come in and almost like a savior for NTR in 1984. Back to you, Vasudha.
That's very interesting, N. Manoharan, the point person that we all, think for Mr. Pawan Kalyan, of course, is going to play a very critical role in the TDP cabinet. Thank you, Uma. Please stay with us. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, other NDA leaders, also Home Minister Amit Shah, JP Nadda, BJP President, all present at the oath-taking ceremony of Chandrababu Naidu. We can see Eknath Shinde, Praful Patel, Anupriya Patel, of course, Chirag Paswan, several people present at the oath-taking ceremony. Mr. Chandrababu Naidu has taken oath as the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. This is the fourth time he has been sworn in as the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, also seen as a kingmaker in the NDA alliance. Let me go across to my colleague Aishwarya, who's also tracking this event from the ground. Aishwarya, tell us, what is the mood like, and what can we expect even as ministers continue to take oath? What kind of formula has Chandrababu Naidu used to put in place his cabinet?
Well, celebrations all the way as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned. Soon after Chandrababu Naidu was sworn in as the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh for the fourth time, firecrackers being busted outside the venue as far as the oath taking is concerned. Now, let me show you these visuals. We are outside because there are heavy jammers. Prime Minister's presence is at the swearing-in ceremony, but still people are walking towards the venue, and this is almost a kilometer away where we are reporting from because of the network issues, but certainly still people are lined up to go to have just one glimpse of their leader, of Chandrababu Naidu and other dignitaries who are present there. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also had arrived some time back over here. As far as the swearing-in ceremony is concerned, he will directly go to Bhubaneswar from here on. But certainly top leaders of the NDA also there, including the stars from Bollywood and Tollywood, Rajinikanth to Chiranjeevi to Allu Arjun to Balakrishna. All are there present. Remember, there are also councillors from different countries who had been specially invited for this oath-taking ceremony. But as we saw yesterday, as soon as Home Minister Amit Shah and Bharatiya Janata Party President JP Nadda arrived in Vijayawada, he, along with Mr. Shah, directly went to Chandrababu Naidu's residence. There they had almost 40 minutes of that meeting, and soon after that the Andhra Pradesh cabinet was finalized. Now it is very clear that 24 of the MLAs are taking oath as the ministers of the Chandrababu Naidu cabinet, and it has a mix of combination as far as the youth presence in the cabinet is concerned, the experience is concerned, women, backward, everybody. But certainly, this is a message that Chandrababu Naidu wanted to send out, that they are with the NDA, and 100%, the cooperation with the centre is something that will be required for next 5 years, and that's being showcased in a mega swearing-in ceremony today as well.
Right. Thank you, Aishwarya, for joining us with those details. Let me go across to Pulla Rao now. Sir, Pawan Kalyan took oath. He was the second person to take oath. So clearly, he is going to play a very important role there. He is the brother of Chiranjeevi. Chiranjeevi started the Praja Rajyam party. I still remember this whole 5 rupees thing, which for that, at that time, it just seemed like the first initiative to crowdsource for a political party. But of course, Pawan Kalyan has seen electoral success this time, despite trying very hard last few times. Tell us, how do you see the rise in the stature of Pawan Kalyan and the kind of role that he's likely to play? Because when Mr. Naidu was arrested, like my colleague Uma was also pointing out, it was Mr. Pawan Kalyan who gave a lot of hope to Mr. Naidu.
You say Pawan Kalyan did help his brother in a very big way in 2008 when he formed that Praja Rajyam. Praja Rajyam did well, but they lost, the triangular fight first time. Instead of carrying on like Pawan Kalyan, Chiranjeevi merged his party with the Congress and became a minister, and that was over. Then when Pawan Kalyan resumed his activities on his own in 2014, there was a lot of credibility gap, whether he'll also wind up his party, this, that. But without contesting any seats in 2014, he supported the BJP and Chandrababu Naidu, helped them come to power. Jagan was quite powerful even then. Jagan was very competitive even in that election, 2014. 2019, Pawan Kalyan then said he will contest on his own because he did not get along with Chandrababu Naidu. There were many, many issues. It was short to go in here. He contested on his own. He secured 5-6% votes, lost most of them, all the seats, and including himself. But he persisted. And unfortunately for Jagan, instead of dividing his opponents, he attacked all his opponents at the same time, and they were all united. That's the very strange thing which Jagan brought about. He united his enemies. And Pawan Kalyan, Chandrababu Naidu started working together, and BJP came along. There's the rest of this history. What happened was, he had a multiplier effect on the election. Multiplier effect. And he gave a lot of courage. His cadres were everywhere. And let me tell you, he gets crowds without paying for it. Everybody knows that. He gets crowds. He's got a huge following. He could withstand all the pressures of the government and became a source of great energy, stability, and if I may say so, he was the fighting force of the opposition.
Well, that's a very important point. Let me go across to Sajjan Kumar. Thank you so much, Sajjan, for waiting so patiently. Chandrababu Naidu, in some ways, was seen as the first tech-savvy chief minister of any state. He was fondly called the CEO of Andhra Pradesh. He was seen as pro-industry, pro-investments, pro-corporate. He was also seen as empowering wealth creators. But now, Andhra is a welfare state known for Jagan's model of welfare schemes. How do you see that shift happening, and also his own politics, of multiple flip-flops, as somebody who took over the party after his father-in-law, somebody who's been with the BJP, also with the opposition, leaving the party, leaving the NDA fold in 2019 over not so very cordial terms. So how do you see that politics and, of course, his governance vision shaping in the upcoming cabinet?
నా కర్తవ్యాలను సక్రమంగా నిర్వహించేందుకు అవసరమైన మేరకు తప్ప ప్రత్యక్షంగా గాని పరోక్షంగా
Sachin, you're on mute.
లేదా వ్యక్తులకు తెలియపరచనని లేదా వెల్లడించనని.
One should not see a contradiction or a binary between a technocratic vision and a very socially inclusive vision, because that was the decade of 1990s when India has opened it, and then Chandrababu Naidu, of course, created the Hyderabad as a Cyberabad sort of a thing, and that became a kind of a template for the kind of e-governance model that's something one witnessed. But then also came the critical aspect of that it's not inclusive, and then we see in 2000, every party has created a fine balance. So all the populist policy, welfare schemes that you see, even at the national level, you see every party has to continue something that is there, but side by side you also have to go for some sort of a pro-reform vision wherein you create infrastructure, you create some sort of a more kind of a governance which is more kind of coordinated. So that way you find Chandrababu Naidu or Narendra Modi, they all have the same template wherein they have to ensure a kind of a very reformist development wherein from the agrarian, the non-agrarian shift has to be created to include more people into the mode of economy and finance. But side by side, you also have to give a cushion. You cannot leave the bottom of the pyramid at their own fate. That market cannot percolate. So that is why Jagan has lost the electoral arithmetic, but still he is sitting at 39.5, nearly 40% of the vote percentage. And many of his populist schemes were popular among the women, etc. But he lost because the opposition vote came together. So that is why it has to be a kind of, because Amravati will require a lot of infrastructural investment and that will catapult the health. So it has to be a fine balance. So something you see at Andhra and center will remain the same.